Good morning, Bravehearts, and good morning, Garfield, New Jersey. Welcome back to Marv in the morning, baby. What is it, Wednesday? What is it, Tuesday? What day is today? I'm doing a I'm doing a Joey Diaz over here. Welcome back, welcome back. This is Marv in the morning, episode 39, I believe. I think we're on episode 39 now, if I'm not mistaken. In today's episode, we are reviewing the top 10 podcasts in the world, and we're on number 3 today, which is the Call Her Daddy podcast. We're going to do a review for the Call Her Daddy podcast. And listen, I'm relieved. I think relieved is the best word. Because after yesterday, attempting to listen to a true crime jazz, I just was like, nah, I can't. So I didn't have a lot to say about it. Which was unfortunate, right? Because I wanna really dig it deep and like get in there and get into the crevices. But today, while this style of podcast is still not my jazz, like I still not my cup of coffee. I definitely could listen to this more than I can listen to something about horrible atrocities committed on our mortal plane. But listen, if you're watching post live, look below, check out the timestamps, skip ahead, go to the future, go to the meat and potatoes in the future, and you can get your fix immediately. But let's handle some business first off. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up. We have a goal right now of 500 subscribers by the end of the year. We're halfway there. So if you want to become a Braveheart, join the Bravery Army, like Kiss would say, then actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I don't want to make it an army. If you want to become a Braveheart, hit that subscribe button and whatnot, right? I did an interview yesterday live from Bravery Studios. I had Slider P up in here. I had Midnight Fox. Those dudes, I was not prepared. I was not ready for what they had in store for me. Shout out to them for making that a very unique and surreal experience. They are an experience, those two. Yeah, man. And, legends. I call Ivo a legend every time I see him. He thought I was making fun of him. No, dude, you're a legend, dude. You're definitely a legend. And you made that interview awesome. Both of you guys did. Great talk. Chopped it up for like 2 hours, and I get it. I get that the people say I don't know how Nori and Joe Rogan can do these 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour interviews, and it's like, yo, people don't warm up. People don't warm up until like the second hour. So like you go in there. And you try to do like a 1 hour interview. You're not even scratching the surface of what this human can tell you about themselves, because like there is just something about the beginning of a conversation or beginning of a production where like people's nerves might be higher than usual. You kind of have to comfort them back into the world, and that usually takes about an hour in itself. The gems definitely come in the second hour of an interview. Shout out to DJ Didi. Got Derek in the house. I know Derek. Derek used to do 2 hour interviews every week. But yo, shout out to Derek. Yeah, man. Starter P, Midnight Fox. That interview won't be out for a while, but what an experience it was hanging with those two. We definitely had a great time. Definitely dig them. I dig those guys. And I can't wait to see them live. I'm going to go check them out this Saturday. Up in Butler. So let me know if you're watching and you want to go to their show. Let's show these boys some love. These intergalactic celestial beings. Let's show them some love, man. Let's show them some love. But okay. Yeah, man. Nostalgia, Ultra, the color orange. Yes, we have got the boy Frank in the frame. I didn't like R&B until I was introduced to Frank Ocean's music. So yeah, definitely got a lot of love for that dude right there. Shout out to Frank, and shout out to 2010 2010 probably, right? Or no, I think I discovered him in 2012. Might have been out earlier, but I was like, it took me a while to find like new music back then. So yeah, man. Shout out to Frank. Um, Tonight, 7 p.m. YouTube. We have the Matt Zaytoon episode releasing. I have been editing the jazz out of this video. It's actually an audio only episode, but of course there's going to be a YouTube version, which I'm debating whether I want to do some fancy editing and like give it visual so that there's something to see on the screen. I was even thinking of like recording gameplay like from like a retro video game and laying that on the screen so while you're watching you also have something to look at. But I don't know if it would distract from the interview itself. That's the only thing I'm not too sure about. I don't know if that'll be distracting. So I'm gonna play along with it today. So I'm still editing a lot of it. Matt's my dude. What was I gonna say about Matt? Derek, I gotta take you over to Prototype, bro. Can't wait to hear that pod, man. Yeah. I gotta take you over to Prototype one of these days, Matt. I mean, Derek, and so you can meet everybody over there. Shout out to Rivership. Shout out to Rivership. I'm actually wearing the Prototype shirt right now, in honor of the episode releasing, and that's only part one. I go to Prototype like every other week just to chop it up with Matt and do a podcast with him. Me and him could go on for hours. And, talk about movies, music, culture itself, photography. I can chop it up with that guy any time of the week and record with him. So he's going to be a recurring guest a lot. I might just call that series live from Prototype. And that'll just be when me and him just chop it up And even this Saturday, I have to go interview John from over there from Prototype. So Prototype is definitely the sister studio to Bravery Studios. So love those guys. I would love everybody over there. Matt's photo game is great. Yeah, Matt, dude, he's doing that on a phone. He's doing all that on a phone, man. So the Pattersonian account that he just made, I'm happy that he's making an archive now, because I think he was just doing stories and stories disappear after 24 hours. And I was like, nah, dude, you gotta make a gallery. Like, you gotta present this stuff somewhere, But I'm happy he's finally doing that. And he's getting attention for it too. So yeah, man. Good stuff. Good times, good stuff. Love the guy. Check out the interview tonight. We got Scarlett in the house. How you doing? Lovely. Yeah, so yeah, I was with Ivo. I was with Frank last night, recording a pod, Out of This World podcast. And then tonight, I'm going to be releasing the Matt Zaytoon episode. So check that out tonight, 7 p.m. YouTube. And yeah, man, just live from Bravery Studios is so much fun. I used to think I was really bad at interviewing people, and I think I probably was a couple years ago, where I said to myself, I don't think interviewing is my thing. I don't think I'm good at asking the right questions. But I think maybe I was just thinking too hard about it, and I kind of just needed to just have fun with it. Now I'm definitely more fun, more relaxed. I was trying to be too professional, too much of a businessman, thinking too much of the brand. And my brand is me, so I have to be myself on these interviews, and it comes out a lot better. Like, even when I had the mayor of Patterson, I definitely felt like, man, I'm trying to be too professional up here. Let me have some laughs with these guys instead of doing like the boring, corporate, podcast jazz. No, I gotta have a little bit of fun with it for sure. Just have a little bit of fun with it, and it's coming out better. Definitely coming out better. So I've enjoyed everyone I've spoken to thus far. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's get into what we came here to do, right? Call her dada. Call her daddy podcast. Oh man, I listened to it, and oh man, I was not ready. This is the number 3 podcast in the world. Number 3. It is a, I guess, relationship podcast, but it's also super raunchy and super rated R. And I was like, whoa, this is number 3 in the world? Like, wow, okay. I got to loosen my collar a little bit listening to this. This is something I didn't expect. I did not see that coming from the cover or from any of the descriptions of the podcast. I did not know what I was getting myself into listening to this podcast. Super explicit, super explicit. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. Just off the bat, let me just say, I'm not gonna recommend this to anybody who's a little bit prudish and a little bit, this is not safe for work content. Not safe for work content. So, oh hey, sounds like fun. It was fun. I'll say that. I've never listened to a podcast like with sex talk. I've never listened to a sex talk podcast. I've recorded some of them here, recorded a few of them, but never. I've never actually sat and listened to someone I don't know speak about sex. I mean, let's just put it bluntly. So, what did I walk away with from this podcast? It's hosted by Alex Cooper. And I think she's a great host. I think she's very down to earth, and she is not afraid to speak about any topic, any type of pillow talk, at all. From the looks of it, from what I've heard from that episode, the episode I listened to was called "How to Spice Up Your Relationship," and I don't know if particularly, that title was a great representation of the episode itself. I didn't get the part where she's giving you tips. I heard her just saying what was something she tried, and maybe that's the point, that she just, hey, I tried this, so you should try this. And I guess that's totally cool, but I didn't feel like a how-to episode. This is what I'm saying. It didn't feel like a how-to episode. So, it seemed like, hey, here's one thing I did, and maybe you can try it too. So yeah, that was the title. I guess putting "how to" in the title of your podcast is an easy way to get more listeners. People are like, yeah, how can I do that? Right? Her episodes seem to be like an hour long. Like at average, I saw a couple 50. I saw a couple 60s. So hour long podcast. Mondo explicit. I think my immediate thought was like, okay, I get it. This is like the woman Joe Rogan. This is Joe Rogan for women. Not that she's speaking on any of these topics that Joe Rogan's speaking on. She's not speaking on any of those things, but the authenticity, I guess, is what I see. I think people generally like Joe Rogan because he's very open about his beliefs. He stands firmly. Stand firmly is kind of a thing. I don't know if he really does that anymore. He seems to be fluctuating a bit in his stances, but not afraid to speak on anything or anything at all. So I think this is why she's number 3. Alex Cooper seems like nothing is taboo, nothing is off the table in his podcast. I think she speaks way too fast. I might even be guilty of this also, but listening to her, I don't know if the editing, maybe they fast forwarded a bit. I know everyone's concerned with attention spans nowadays, and they're like, yo, let's just edit this in a way so it's a little bit sped up, to get to the point faster. But I found it to be like, whoa, she's speaking way too fast. And then at some point in the podcast later, after I wrote that note, she even admits it. She's like, whoa, am I speaking too fast? She actually admits it. So yeah, like, slow down. Like, oof, like this is like a lot of pounding in here. Like, oh, God, why did I say that? This is like a lot of this is just kind of too much information coming at you too fast. Lots of cursing, and listen, I'm no church boy, but I don't know. I need to do an episode about how I feel about swearing, cursing, cuss words on podcasts, because I actually think it's really lazy when you do that. I think it's very lazy when every sentence is F this, S that. I think it's actually really lazy and distasteful. Or at least I find it distasteful. Are you not able to articulate your thoughts without, every other word being a swear or a curse or whatever you want to call it? I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm not like, listen, I'm no saint. And I watch, tons of like rated R stuff, but I don't know. I feel like you should be able to get your point across and be entertaining without dropping F bombs everywhere. You know, like I found that part hard to listen to. Maybe it's just me. You know, I guess some people feel like, hey, if I'm up there cursing and swearing and saying all this raunchy stuff, I'm being authentic and I'm being real. And hey, you're getting the real me. This is how I speak to my friends. This is how I'm going to speak to you. Yo, listen, I don't think code switching is a bad thing. You know, I feel like it would be very lazy of me to come on Marv in the morning one day and just be like, F this, F that. You gotta F and do it. You know, like Gary V. I can't listen to that stuff, man. It's like I get you're trying to give me verbal caffeine. You're trying to like just go, you know, get the adrenaline pumping, but it's like I feel like you can get your point across without doing all that. You know, maybe it's just me. That's my preference, but that knocks some points off of the podcast just for that. You know, I can't. I'm like, this is becoming distasteful. And listen, sex talk or explicit conversations, you can do them tastefully, and it's not like you can't curse at all. Like, I'm not opposed to like, you know, a little sprinkle. Like, make it count. Like, do it while it's worth it. You know, like PG-13 movies, they will allow one F word in the entire movie. And that's something that people walk away from remembering, you know. But like you watch Goodfellas, and Goodfellas is sort of, oh, this movie has so many F bombs in it. It should be banned or whatever, right? But I don't even notice it in that movie. I don't even notice how many times they curse. I don't even pay attention to it because, you know, they're speaking naturally, but also it's just so much of it that you start to like phase it out. You're not really even paying attention to it at that point. You know, I really don't even know, except for the part where like Frank Vincent tells Joe Pesci to get a effing shine box. I can't think of any other quote of that movie where they're cursing at each other. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think you can get this type of content and still get the same point across without it being distasteful. Like. But hey, like I said, this podcast wasn't made for me. This is, you know, for the mainly female audience. And listen, Joe, Therapy Without a Degree. Yeah, people are listening to women, bro. It's this is what people are listening to. This is what it is. But yeah, so can't say I'm fond of listen. I can't say I would ever listen to this again, because of the amount of cursing in it. But I also wrote down in my notes, like, I think it might be phony. I think that let me see how to phrase this. I think that coming off as an extremist is more attractive and more exciting than being noticeably playing it safe. Right? Yo, what do I mean by that? Let me elaborate. I think that if she went up there, or even myself, if I went up there and kind of had this sort of conversation and had it without any extremisms being extreme cursing, extreme vulgar language, extreme topics, I don't think it would push boundaries. So it might be an act. Like I don't know. I can't picture Alex Cooper speaking like this in public. I don't know if it's just spruced up for the show. Like I remember when Jessica Simpson and her husband had a reality TV show, and she would play a little bit of a blonde on the show, like a little bit of an airhead, and it was just for the show. Like you can tell, like, all right, she's kind of playing it up for the camera, being a little more ditzy and whatnot for the camera, so that you know, it's a little more entertaining, exaggerating your personality. I think exaggerated personalities get people's attention faster than kind of like Mr. Play It Safe, which I guess I'm Mr. Play It Safe. I guess I'm not I don't know if I'm an extreme personality. I don't have extreme takes on things. I'm usually somewhere in the middle on most things, right? I'm just like down the middle on most things. That's what I think. But yeah, I think having an extreme personality, for the sake of the camera, the sake of the microphone, benefits Alex over here. One of the other topics she brought up was buying a house with your boyfriend while not married, and I feel like that these are conversations that or topics that you can kind of get anywhere. So what makes Alex stand out? Why is Alex a Spotify exclusive podcast? I mean, she's getting big bucks to be exclusively on Spotify. And why do people go to Alex instead of just like any of the other dozens of relationship podcasts out there? What makes her entertaining and what makes her opinion matter? And these are questions that I don't know. Maybe these are questions that can't be answered from just one listening. So I couldn't tell you. If anyone else is watching or even watching post live, maybe you can put that in the comments for me. But I have not discovered what makes Alex's opinion and matter or valuable. What makes Alex's opinion valuable? I didn't notice it. And I don't hear anything that I don't already hear. I didn't hear anything that I don't already hear somewhere else. So yeah, it's just it was a good listen though. It was entertaining. It was dope. I mean, but hey, shout out to Alex. I mean, you're number 3 for a reason. You must be doing something right. So, if you guys want to check it out, go check it out. But like I said, the only thing with me, the only real downside is just how often she curses. It's kind of like, I don't want to come off like holier than thou, right? I don't do it on this show because it's not in my brand and it's not even in my. I'm naturally like in my personality. I don't have like a trucker mouth or whatever. I don't drop. I curse. From time to time, but I'm not like every other sentence. F this, F that, F this, F that. That's not me. Scarlett says off topic, but I'm digging that Prototype shirt. Yeah, shout out to John from Prototype. Handed me this shirt to my hand last time I was there. I was here. It was for the anniversary, the closest thing to heaven anniversary. So was honored that he just handed it. I think they were selling it and he just gave me one. I was like, dope, bro. I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm wearing it in honor of today's episode dropping with Matt tonight on Live from Bravery Studios. But yeah, that was my takeaway from the podcast. Those are my main thoughts. I did find it enjoyable to listen to. I found kind of her vocabulary distasteful. The subject matter, no, I don't think that was distasteful. I think, hey, you want sex talk and you want it to be, you don't want to go to a prude about it. You want to go to someone who's going to be very open and sexually liberated with the conversation. But I just found it distasteful, and I found it kind of lazy. I found it lazy. Just the amount of cursing she did. That's really my biggest takeaway. And then I was looking for a video episode, which I saw that on Spotify. She did have video episodes on Spotify, but I don't know. I couldn't get it to play on my iPad. So I actually went over to YouTube, and she had, I guess, older episodes up there from a year ago. I guess she just only a year ago became a Spotify exclusive because, she only had the episodes from a year ago on YouTube. So I watched a little bit of an interview that she did. And, an interview obviously is going to be very different than, very different speaking methods and different way of delivering information. You have to pull the information out of your guest, right? You're like a fisherman with the reel and whatnot, pulling the information out of the guest. But, so there she was very different. Of course, at that point, the episode is not about her. And I don't know if she usually has guests, and maybe I listened to the one episode where she was solo. Maybe I got to give it another listen. But yeah, like during the interview, she just came off like a regular interviewer, like a journalist, I guess, or whatever the term is. which I think I like that better than the F this, F that. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. But would I recommend this to you? Like I said, probably, yeah. If it was a fun listen, so I would recommend it. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, I found the cursing too distasteful. Scarlett says sex talk needs to be normalized because too many uh, intimacy, uh, intimately active adults are genuinely lacking knowledge in too much to the point that it's worrisome. But there's definitely a way to come at it. Exactly. I think it can be done tastefully, and I agree. I agree that yeah, let's just normalize this jazz already because you know what, everybody's doing it. So it's like once we get rid of the taboos of speaking on these things, and I wouldn't say publicly, but normally speaking on these things normally, then yeah, like we will learn more about ourselves from hearing it from people that are also going through it as well. I can't imagine like 30 years ago where everything was a little more prudish and you couldn't speak about these topics in a forum. You couldn't have a forum about pillow talk. Imagine how much they missed out on or whatnot. Tamika, welcome. How are you doing? This is your home and you're always welcome here, Tamika. I'm happy to have you here. Welcome to Marv in the Morning. Exactly, man. Yeah, I just imagine it. And for like safety sakes too, safety purposes, like yeah, intimacy talk, it is important to have because you know what, there's risk involved with it, and anything where it involves risk means that hey, you should probably speak to someone about this. But hey, you can't speak to people about it if you're ashamed of what you did. So like yeah, we need to normalize pillow talk, I guess is the cleaner way of saying it. Even just sexual safety. Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, exactly. Me and Scarlett are right here. We're right here. Yeah, we're right here. Yes, exactly. Like there's risk involved. So yes, you definitely have to normalize this type of talk because hey, one day, little Susie and little Jimmy are probably going to become intimate, and you don't want them to go in there blind. Let me take back to my childhood, right? My parents never, ever, ever had to talk with me. Never had to talk. Never did. Maybe they did with my sisters, and maybe me being a boy, they just were like, go run wild. It probably was that. It probably was just go run wild and do you, or whatever. But, yeah, where am I going with this? I wish they did. Yeah, because you know what? I got the information from like friends who are knuckleheads, and like, listen, the whole concept and the whole everything that had to do with intimacy was wrong. Everything I learned about it, and then in school they teach you the life, damning lessons of it, but not the beauty of it. The beauty of it, right? Yeah, my parents didn't discuss that with me either. Yeah, like, I would have figured my pops at one point would have said something like, at least as a joke, like, but nah, never, never, never. Um, but yeah, I learned from friends and from TV, and what did I learn? I learned nothing. The amount of information I gathered in on these topics were totally off, and I didn't know what I was doing. But thank God, I'm okay, and whoever I was with was okay. But for sure, and you know what? Thinking about it, I don't even know if I could talk to my parents about those sort of things. I don't even know if I could. That would be very awkward. I'd be like yanking my chain a little bit, especially not with mom, for sure. Pops maybe, but mom, I don't know. But yeah, Captain Mancio, Erica, I was watching your vlog. I've been watching Erica's vlog every time she drops one. She had the Go Vote Cup, and man, yeah, guys, I hope you guys all voted. Yeah, Tamika's laughing over there. Yeah, Eric, I'm enjoying the vlog. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And guys, subscribe to Erica. Um, Very entertaining, very stylish too. I think you rival me in style. I like how you walk in the room, and you got your setup, and it's very well choreographed. I wonder how it takes to plan that, how much time it takes. Yo, there's too much shame in people's own bodies and sexuality because they think something isn't normal because some people have no one to talk to or listen to, and too much ignorance in safety and aftercare. Yeah. I agree with all that, and the beauty of it. You know, the joining of two celestial bodies is a beautiful thing, right? The union of it, right? Um, and kind of when you make it a shameful thing, it's kind of like, you. I don't think you won't have a beautiful experience if you're ashamed of what you're doing, right? Because it's supposed to be something beautiful. I think it is beautiful. I'm being as tasteful as possible with this topic, Alex, as you can see, and you don't got to do it my way, but this is how I would do it. Thank you. I'm same for new camera. You'll see improvements soon. I like the fisheye lens. I like the fisheye. It looks distinct. It looks different. I got to see a very zoomed in. I don't know what that was. That a potato you were eating? Baby potato? Absolutely, you're right. The beauty of it. Yes, intimacy is a beautiful thing, right? You know, Now depending on your beliefs in life and your lifestyle, you can choose when and whom and how to engage in intimacy with another being, right? But I think regardless of culture, religion, and I don't know, any other variable, I think it's always a beautiful thing, right? There's a beauty to it. There's an art. There's an art like a grand piano player and a cello. You know, I mean, I could do I can do a relationship podcast. I'd be very artsy about it though. I'd use metaphors like you would have to just like go with the currents if I was talking about it. Cause yeah, I'm not a potty mouth. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a potty mouth, so I can't get as explicit as Alice Cooper over here. But you know, and shout out to Alice Cooper's name being Alice Cooper. The only other Alice Cooper I know is he's a rock star. Um, but yeah, I would be like very metaphorical about it if I was doing it, honestly, because and it's not a shame thing either. But to have a very tasteful conversation about intimacy, I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to do, to achieve, because even eliminating the shame, there is a bit of people can be juvenile with the topic as well. Um, and that's another complaint I would have about this podcast. It's almost somewhat juvenile. Even the title of the podcast being called, call her daddy. Yeah, it's a little bit juvenile. Scarlett says I'm too blunt to make metaphors. Yeah, I guess this is the way I would do it. I got to do everything a little bit more poetically than just saying things outright bluntly. Because even words, I think, are the way people string together words. Like I'm Dominican, right? I'm Dominican, and the most thing I'm proud of, the proudest thing I think about my country and my motherland, is the way Dominicans string together words and the way they carry a sentence. Listen, man, one time I had this ex-girlfriend and she was Peruvian. And she was like, dude, like I feel like Dominicans don't speak Spanish. They sing. They sing Spanish. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, just the ways Dominicans speak, it's like, it's like a song. It's like, pero tigre, tú imaginas lo que está pasando hoy, loco. Like, yo, like, I don't even know. I'm so bad at Spanish, so I don't even want to attempt that again. But yeah, man, I think that Dominicans always have a clever metaphor and simile, um, And yo, they just like we weave through conversations beautifully. And I think maybe other nationalities might be put off by it. It's like, yo, why did Dominicans speak like this, and whatever. But no, I think it's gorgeous. I can listen to Dominicans speak all the time. I love it, and I'm coming from a very biased place about it. But I try to like do that in English, man. I'm trying to like be Dominican in English. Man, that's like a podcast name right now. I'm actually thinking about making that. Yeah, man. Weaving through conversations so melodically, right? Dominicans speak melodically. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I think Colombians also they have a very elegant and polite way of speaking. I like the way Colombians speak too. But yeah, let me tell you, nothing's better than hearing something from the motherland. Your mother is melodically telling you that the el tres golpes está listo. Uh, I'm over here reminiscing now. I'm in like another Twilight Zone right now. But yeah, man, I understand what you're saying. My family's Jamaican, but people from Trinidad sing when they speak. Yeah, right. There's some accents and jargon that it's like they're reading poetry. They are reading poetry when some people just are reading poetry when they're just reading the newspaper. It's poetic, you know. I want to do an episode about like speaking patterns. I think the thing I've learned the most about people in my whole time here creating podcasts or recording podcasts is picking up on speech patterns. Like Joe Rogan, if you like he speaks da 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 da, right? When you listen like Nori, it's da 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 da, right? And then you listen to like Kanye West, it's like da 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 da, right? And this is probably sounding ridiculous if you like just jumped in when I started doing that and you have no context for what I was just doing, but I was just like putting together like people's speaking patterns, right? And it's hard to do it for yourself. Like I don't know what my speaking pattern is. Like maybe it's da 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 da. Maybe it's like that da 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 da. Maybe I might be speaking too fast or whatever. But yeah, man, like we just changed the whole point of the episode. We just changed the whole point of the episode, right? But yeah, I love creative minds understand. This is why me and Tamika are awesome. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, dude, I love the way some people rhythmically and melodically weave their way, in conversation. I'm trying to master that. I want when somebody talks to me for like a couple of minutes, they're like, "Well, this guy's cool." This guy is totally cool, man. Yeah, for real. But yeah, that's my review of the Call Her Daddy podcast. If you have not listened to it, go listen to it. It's very explicit, very rated R. She curses up a storm up there, right? But it is enjoyable. It is a good listen, and the episode I listened to was how to spice up your relationship. Go, if you want to listen to exactly what I heard and give me your thoughts, you can go listen to that episode. Like I said, Mondo explicit. She speaks very, very fast. Hey, I guess it's what people want to hear. She's number 3 podcast in the world for a reason. Number 3 for a reason, right? For good reason. But yeah, guys, thanks for kicking it with me today. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and Armando appreciate that. We'll be back tomorrow. What's the 3rd podcast in the world before we go? We're actually on the 4th because we skipped the first one because I didn't want to hear Joe Rogan and do a review of Joe Rogan. So let's see, what's the next one? So I can get you guys something to listen to, and then you guys can come back tomorrow if you've heard it, and we can review it together. Let's see. I lost my list of top podcasts in the world. Let's see. Joe Rogan's number 1. Crime Junkie. Call Her Daddy. Yeah, see, number 3. And the entire planet that she was number 3. And then number 4 is My favorite murder. Look at all the ads on this page too. Yeah, I don't know. Ben Shapiro. This might become a more daunting task the more I'm listening to things that I don't find enjoyable. But I will. I can't wait till we get to number 7, Office Ladies. Number 7, Office Ladies. I can't wait to listen to that. I might become a regular. I might become a. Ironic that sex talk topic came up when I'm going to a BDSM event tonight. Yeah, I knew you were doing it, so I was like, I gotta plan this out perfectly with time. I gotta be like, hey, Scarlett, listen, we're gonna have this topic, particularly because we heard of what you were doing tonight. How did we hear what you were doing? People came back from the future and told us. But yeah, so tomorrow's podcast is My Favorite Murder. It is the number 4 podcast in the world. It is hosted by 2 lovely ladies there. So if you want to join in the conversation, if you want to review it alongside me, you can go check them out. Let me see where they're available. They are available. Let's see. It doesn't say. I guess they're available on every platform because it doesn't say that they are exclusive to any platform. You the man. So yeah, hosted by Karen Kilgariff. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. And Georgia Hardstark. So yeah, tomorrow, My Favorite Murder is what we're reviewing. I'm going to be listening to it all day today. And yeah, guys, check it out. Join in. We'll have a good time. But now it's time for So Long. So thank you, everybody watching. Thank you, Scarlett, Tamika, Derek, Erica. Erica, I'm tuned in. I'm Mondo tuned in. But yeah, guys, so we're out of here. So, as we usually say, and I think this might be, I might have settled on it. This might actually be the outro line. Like I said, I got to be clever in wording. I got to be a wordsmith over here. But stay brave and keep on keeping on.